Betra senior Mpensenpensemu atwa so ede ama NS Kofi Owusubempa Deputy Director of Communications de ma NPP amanyoko no watena se saa so ena Kofi Adams Member of Parliament ma de hye wo buem abato empesua so ono so atena se sedi kan ne ahwefo enmu amutibi frɛ eseti tone ena nkomodie no efa Dr. Alhaj Mahmoud Baumia Kasaya watuni the bold solution. And no minority so the mano atum say the bold solution itself needs a solution. And then on personal, HTML once again I could see is a raswa jibre na go so Badwam on Adom TV. Who you call there?
Oh, yami Adom me hu ye yami de odine so ache abe Friday idea so ye midday TGIF but when we say Michelle tuntum but answer na kura meka tuntum ho asem no ma memfa akwenye and wish one of my very great daughters she's making a lot of very wonderful initiatives touching lives at her age. Yaira Poshia Kulu and the birthday.
Oh, wow.
And me wishing a very happy birthday. Say Yankupon Anka Sankoso Insurance now be a lot more opportunities and for man. But Tuntuma Miche one of your very learned professors our Chiradia University of Ghana, Professor Stephen Ahia Adom. Now many members of the boss board juma together wayenya media and then they share the journey home as with a pre-burial service at the University of Ghana and also ebusuafo no omu enshede na onuso ne kra no yankopon emfa ne nsie yi mai. So that's why I will say even though we are in the mood of what mourning
as a nation.
As a nation, morning Dr. Baumiane presentation, I mean him say, Yebenya Aquina Ewramunidie. Yebeka Mwasempa.
Oh, who's about there?
I mean, I'm Johnson. I'm Michelle Seja. Adom Mpensenpensemu frame. Ntiene maba. Na mabetu minu Kofi wa hazo no so. Edini number bi no say. And then one NDC enkoye vision na pasca and they feel intimidated. Say a new dawn in Ghanaian politics eba Ghana fo nyina de ahosepe Asia sa new dawn a visionary leader or the direction a did or mine echo a new chapter na said the menu Kofi can said the me then say Mahama wadi mate da abi the president abi the driver abi gistia no da okay you turn driver
you turn back
or drive city no da and wasan yi mate da ba omia de wadi mate and no simu man kwan na mo metrest here the difference is totally different. From that angle,
the role of the driver and the role of the mate. Omo nyina ni so ade hu ye se wode won passages ebedru on destination. Ya basabasa bia emma. So role be na say mate a play at the supported driver. Emma driver to be drive ya sumdwem. Collaboration be na driver so be to be ama mate. Amo to be on passengers akọ. Go my minister starting from because Dr. Baumia's statement here clear and outside. Niamodi abebom ye say Baumia's vision lack substance. Ade
well, you made us say, Aquina or the Amaye na Wankasa Michiao. More Moshe, so Michiao Munina, my constituents, Buim, Michia Moso, and Inya Baku, Jonila of Jonila Net. And also, with region, especially my constituents here, all shooting some very creative contents. So beautiful. And my memfa Aquina in Chia Onoso. So this is about the second time Oba my constituency, any Uti region generally, to do that, and also boa in the creative arts industry. It's a good thing to do. Any minia also Benpaso Michiano. But clearly, Dr. Bawumia does not only lack appropriate vision, yedibeshare o men yusu, but ne kasa nyina obeka ye no bebre na obehu se wanka no kre. Sometimes when person kasa the way titie na omudi maye no me person me kasa maybe nipa na di o try and throw na is a liar na bibisa, but that's clearly nia obeye. Minia se witie mampenyina nkasa His Excellency Nana Adom Akufo-Addo. I say MPP we a communicator kra to say Osu Bemba we a communicator for the party kra no uka hu bi. Ono kra say we a communicator kra uka hu bi. Aban nes de juma wo ye say o succeed or fail obia wo bibia ukra ono na we a district chief executive uka hu bi. Yeah. We a deputy minister uka hu. We a minister uka hu. Na enye vice president nkwa na ye den uka hu. And this caution or the man won abra na omo pray for positions. Okay. Because the concern of the other aspirants and say Bawumia should be blamed. Yeah. But president na new year or the ba no one make say vice president no ono so enka ho because me na me driver ono oye mate keke o say there be ye nyina ye kam. So it is not possible say Dr. Bawumia be yi ne ho efri abenem, and clearly I agree with President Nana Adom Akufo-Addo because me who vice president as a mate and yes Debbie. And it has never been like that. It has never been like that. We are in constitutional provision. And we are independent presidential candidate. Kura, untumi mfa wo huma emfa nkoma electoral commission say wo ba be candidate. Abra vice presidential candidate enka.
As a running mate.
As a running mate. Untumi nko file wo papers. Because it is not just a mere the driver and driver mate matter.
Okay.
A serious business we. Yes, to a large extent, also a bit depending on the generality of what governance. And also, a very serious business is we. Our vice president, onye no mean a person. Who any even a binokra enya dream. Ubia ani hu to me say, obe you cry then every ho. Okay. Like the way you can get a minister out of office, you can sack a DC, you can sack chief executives and the rest so easily. Or more money protection of more protection of office crown. Yeah, well, a kind year out to me fast even as my penia who per se we want free war, who be you want free off. Okay. The vice president is not one of those. Me am a boss. His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings, may he so rest in perfect. Okay, on any issue. Aka at a point became a running mate to President Kufuor. Obeye running mate to President Kufuor in the Great Alliance arrangement. And he was still a sitting vice president. Because one to me, you know free hope. One to me, you know free hope. So vice president, just a mere position. Okay. And unti, and Dr. Bawumia yeka no one semi year. Edru timer. Ono actual questions 170 questions so person obisa aban on the economy no one direct questions na mfa nkoma the president or direct questions no to vice president Pakwesi Emisata because when him say as vice president no wonye mate keke especially in circumstances yes the economic management team no ahye wonsa. We are directly responsible. Now, come home and let's discuss from 2017, Edibedrune near Akoso. 2-3 significant persons, including even Dr. Bawumia Nankasa Nekase, HRSA. The issue of economy, any Bibiano, Yedi Ashenensa. One, senior minister ya Osafomafo.
Okay.
Now me sure say who will be a water year research party. So that video, no, at least the short clip of it, when he was praising the successes chalked by the government, on the economic management team. Say, omu, and now why then only two and among those successes. Now say economic management team achieve success now. Moka mimi hu yemum. Yemfa enche Dr. Baumia. Now he was like an activist chair of the economic management team. Now Oyejuma to say secretary. This is Yao Safumafo speak. Obianim Yao Safumafo. Onye mean person. Waye finance minister. Pen. And he was education, youth and sports minister. So in all these two portfolios, no economic management team of President Kufuor. So he knows the role of economic management team. And also be a senior minister in the first government of what? Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And he now nim near Oka. And which the president himself, in his 2018 State of the Nation address, Parliament, said, Onususi Unhu successes.
Okay.
And truly as it was, those successes were not actually even based on foresight, on policies, on initiative. Now, so now, on credit. Let's leave that. Say, make call later into why we got those successes in 2017 and 2018. But the point I want to make now is how the president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, one fact credit of the economic gains and farm money. Our parliament, or say, the vice president, Nientia Okofano Baye, because to handle the economy, no, what shares say, through fruits of Nejuma, and the economy is showing signs of gains, and that Nejuma that is the president speaking. The president who knew, say, he will seek re-election in 2020. No, the area of economy success now. When one can say, me Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, maybe ye mampenyinu ye macheso ama yakoye ni ma yese debi. Noted of him, no one yes or say the vice president. He gave that credit to him. The vice president himself, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, the credit amane ho. Say, or no, any team of economic management here, how no call describe himself solid team. What a solid team. Say Mubekai.
Yeah.
Then come again, less than 120 days in office. Obey a press conference, be say, or no, as vice president and the colleagues, then stabilize the economy, say the CD depreciating against the dollar, no, the swire then abafom, and they have locked the dollar. Our mode Safwano then Ediama IGP. Meaning, in those 100 days now, or Kahwasem, the budget now, Modi Jumano, was a budget that was passed in the sixth parliament.
Yeah.
As a tepe the budget or the core and no Modi Juma. Because what happens is, like this year, around November, no, the budget beba. Budget now beba will be to run for the first quarter of 2025. Yeah. But Dr. Baumia and the MPP administration took credit for the successes of those periods. Abra no munye ene dollar na less than 4 cedi no says here and senkra and dollar
una so na nim
oh no me person me person wo mo mi na one person o beka
for dollar
no dollar na no osu me ba me no me person
kan wi a wo de kan asem
dollar almost 13 cedi ekoya even almost what 15 cedi according to Dr. Baumia. What the 13 cedi koto $1? A yes in say what the 3 cedi 90 pesos. No, 3 cedi 90 pesos. What the 3 cedi 90 pesos? Koto $1. What the 13 cedi koto $1? Yes, sir. This is Dr. Bawumia's logic. So clearly, this was somebody. Open say we joining every inyama baby so say, oh, may just meet. The vice president is not mere meat. The vice president has responsibilities, have tasks that clearly have been assigned him.
But Kofi, where the function for me to answer. Me say Dr. Bawumia are running away from any lapses a war aban emu. Ana se na wuti en wo hu ne sa.
He was completely running away. That is one.
Sana
two.
wo hu no.
Yes. Okay. Running away. Enye sa na ka me nkwa me hu no kra. Sa na ne nsem a wo kaaye. Me a indicate here. Ne meba no ene ne nyina so, and I will indicate why I said he was running away from nyama ono an o de bae.
Okay.
Look, one of the things the tax policies are about, including the e-levies or kase oba onu betwemu no. This was someone who, together with the colleagues, championed the e-levy. Adia wa champion, adia one kasa wo communication person, nipa oye in charge of at least in the office or Gideon Buako.
Yeah.
And I hear him say, Okasamanu, wa Badwam thing abeka clearly say, Dr. Bawumia is fully in support of e-levy. And in whom bibia.
Okay. So
nobody can challenge Adia Dr. Bawumia Nankasa or support ya opinion. The government spokesperson, our Minister for Information, Kojo Opon Nkrumah say, the Vice President clearly doesn't need to speak on e-levy in his address now because a idea of waso now ono as Vice President Krano ono no can say yema the first 100 cedi no enye then enye free. Okay. Because ni data ni research ni bibia wa ye no the poor that must be protected no they don't do more than 100 cedi a day. So idea wo waso idea wo na wo de ba ya eguso ho a wonim say eye boni. Say ye boni a adenti na wo nkonko ka say ene ye abe ka ye hu say ade ne ye boni enti ye yim free ho because me propose say ye mfambra me defend ye ena ye pia ya ama ye hu bibia enti ye yim free ho ne and I'm recommending say ye boni ye yim free wo say ye ntwen na ye num nsu a wo awonim say enye. Okay. Na ye nwu ye nya yare nwu na say eye nyame ne pe na wo be ye doctor na wo be ye bibia ansa na waka say san nsuo na enye no afedi ye njai no.
But Kofi, can it also be say maybe be a Dr. Bawumia so atena say ye level no by close of 2024 be serve the purpose until buy the buy or like the Esla.
Men kan ko ni onim kra e dey na omuka tere say ye level ni ba be ye omo say ye ba ye de be yi ya kwan ye de be ye nyema bebre wa kwan no ye yi akwan no ye level no ye de kokko yi akwan no. So as he achieve what is intended for, or see, Edinjuma bebre beba unemployment rate no esoro wa na eko enti Edinjuma biaba. That is going to save yen economy. The data now crowd says no has he made it better. So has he achieved the objective?
So I know for 2024. Around say 2 billion Ghana cedis. So maybe be onya sense kana.
Focus. Forecast that has not been achieved. But more forecast say something billion. MIA. So clearly, no, Dr. Bawumia is running away from the mess that they have created. That is one. Enyama bebreya okaye. Yebeba ni way forward. Okay. We look at the issue of national service. We look at the issue of laptop provision and the rest. But okansen bebreya na enye no kre. For example, I say omo SOV dumso.
Okay.
Long before MPP came to power, Dumso have been resolved.
That is a lie.
Okay.
That
Dumso have been resolved. Dr. Bawumia Nankasa in 2016.
Okay.
Obeye interview. Enye baby at least Joy haya no obeye interview. I say ma yen crediti John Dramani ma yen danas for solving Dumso.
Okay.
Because we have been punished for what? A long time. And yes, sir. And doom so as a scheduled power outage say it were on aha were off came to an end in 2016 as a result of the introduction of plants like America Power and then the rest. Aban almost say Yamaha on SS Power kra. Say yen solve doom so how did you give you SS Power? Mu accuse the same God mu accuse say Yamaha Power edo so senya yenyia kra. After they will say we didn't solve doom so. And again
give you 2 minutes now.
The issue of gas provision. Maybe director of what? You are director of what? Communication. For Ghana Gas.
Yeah.
Ghana Gas Company, winning the savings, we used to spend not less than $300 million importing gas.
Okay.
Now the majority chief whip a statement for Parliament commending the Ghana Gas and how it has helped in stabilizing power generation and supply. One year Ghana Gas. Ghana Gas fully became operational in 2016. It was commissioned in 2015, but full operations in 2016. And they rake in the huge benefits under them. All these have helped to increase gas supply locally. Okay. So yenya even any difficulties be akra ye was sources so that is a doom so lie. Of course I say online passport initiative commenced in 2014 and was launched in 2016 by Hanatete. There were video evidence me sure say when report and everything about online passport. Dr. Baumia say no and now what be online passport. Another lie that he told there. Of course, say Ghana card. Yemfa Ghana card. Emfa mano. At least, eno meka say, oka no kreka krabe nya oka eno krano na nya ni nyina na oka. Yes, President Kufuor passed the act. The regulation, the LIR, Yedi Yejuma was passed under NDC. In 2012, the LI 2111 was passed under the NDC, and that LI makes Ghana card the card to be used for all services that are being used today. There's still even more. And here, Dr. Baumia, what dream? And they say, oh, you use Ghana card, and find you use Ghana card, emra ya shishe atuho. That is what Ghana card is to be used for. Ya capture the data of 16 million persons already.
Okay.
On one case, the technical committee the current head of what? National Identification Authority and another down on mobile power in 2017. Recommendation in reporter was just to continue to increase the fingers capture from what it was to 10. You capture all the fingers. You didn't need to capture the human all the fingers, but they said you capture now, so they have increased it to 10. And instead of using facial recognition, use Irish. These two, so you cannot come and be claiming there are a number of other lies. Momo interoperability, the fiber optics, the 2.1 million jobs, and so on and so forth.
Dr. Alhaj Mahmoud Baumia, minority so who say, "Oh, you need a free the mess." Yeah, what President Kufuor accredited Yama Ghana for.
You see, Didi Kai, I'm surprised. Me no penny Kofi Adams. I'm totally astonished. Say, me who baby grab and father and fa. But no one can bring it to the fore. Say, Baumia as a leader no. What pricked the minds of Ghanaians say, indeed, Baumia is a visionary leader. Why am I saying that? Because let's assume granted, say E-Levy, MPP ne de buy na leader, a transient who say baby the direction at which the purpose of E-Levy no de buy no soon so on maybe a you maybe who as a leader no or your junior kind say bit much changing a character traits of a leader, great leader biano take the necessary risk in outlining their vision. What you say? Anything no leader John Mahama no. Or no only the vision no the baby biano enkoyi. O share on one kasa as a person and in Nyoma waye under his tenure. Actually clearly say he doesn't know how to manage the affairs of the country. It's when you look at the character of great leaders, visionary leaders, one of the attributes is that they are risk takers. What do you say? So obe jinasi no akase sabi obo abolish e-levy. Ghanaians should even know the direction of a new leader and where he's going. Ebio oka bibi fa say ye share the way I was buy any or buy as a vice president. Ni nyoma waye no we dey compare the former president nyoma waye and leadership ni ade President Mills who here John Dramani Mahama be taking over as a vice president. Then some of the two and NDC for say he's trying to run away from President Akufo-Addo's John Mahama clearly made it clear. Atamis we order yi paswa yenyi no kura amfankosi no. This was his statement here. And I can read a portion to
statement
you.
Here.
Or make his statement
on the floor of Parliament.
Not the floor of Parliament,
Okay.
the one that he was addressing his own party people
Okay.
about or no vision, any ideas, any odeba. Okay, say he's lucky to serve as a vice president under Mills. But as a leader, he has outlined his vision of making Ghana a better place.
Okay.
This is John Mahama. Kofi Adams was there. He was one of the key year no to said me busa say na eno no kano na or divert Kofi me busa na or divert say or running away from Atamils, a dead man wo ba bedi na de no na who take you or say one would have thought say he would say he will continue with the or say he will move and take a new path no de ko dum so no remember so new path no ena oma economy erani ya mo we nam no manika dumpe no. That's the new part that we are talking about. Enti so Baumia as a leader was served as a vice president under the former under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now also there is a new chapter. Akufo-Addo's vision or the man who as a vice president the key role I would play Vice President Ben since the Fourth Republic, and why is so functional and very effective than the Vice President Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia. We can compare John Mahama as a Vice President when it comes to corruption. We can compare a sitting president setting up an investigative body to investigate John Dramani Mahama at Amels on issues to do with an aeroplane. Yes, one kotum fra buchilimra. Atamels set up an investigative committee. Papa Bakwan a former army officer or two ananu monsiedo. These are facts. Can you say that about Dr. Bawumia as a vice president? A sitting president will set up an investigative body against him. Bibi science here. And you compare as we go along. No, Mami Emraso. Bawumia making serious statements about his achievement. Woka Mosi Kofi Adam tie kan economy wasem. Now okay economy now can the performance of the CDA. No are the economic indicators. Here, Bawumia made it clear, and I would like to read the exchange rate. We challenge the NDC on that. Minya, and they say one of the performance of the CD exchange rate. It is interesting to note that between 2013 and 2016, the CD, that is almost time. Kofi Adams more time. The CD depreciated by an average of 17.7%.
Okay.
Between 2017 to 2020, there was significant decline in the CD depreciation to an average of 7.5%. The average depreciation further declined to 6.8% between 2017 and 2021. However, following 30% depreciation of the CD in 2022, that is the highest. The average CD depreciation between 2017 and 2022 is 10%. So again, notwithstanding the global crisis and all the economic you perform better in terms of managing the city than the NDC. And I think Kofi Adams to come. These are the figures. Baumia is not a better manager of the economy. John Mahama managed a depreciation of 17%, unprecedented in the Fourth Republic, the history of the Fourth Republic. And the figures, the figures don't lie. It's here.
But also,
he has invited.
Jadinia or Dinija or Crania money free. That may be ya or Crania money free. I'm on a deba. You know, Nimi say under John Mahama. No, the 4 Ghana cities and a copedo.
Can do 4 Ghana.
Under Nanado Danko Kufuado. And he needs about 12 Ghana
then
cities.
Let's go back to.
And now,
let's go back to J. Kufuor's era.
Yes, certainly.
Let's go to J. Kufuor's era.
Yes.
And let's see who has messed the city.
Yes,
no. If you want to go there, Kufuor's time, the city was 1 against the dollar.
Yeah.
When NDC took over power, how was the city? It shot up to 5 point something percent.
So I don't to me also me say Ghana ni no to about the man President Kufuor based on the promise say Jomama Mercy our exchange rate was expecting say obekwa koto dollar from 4 Ghana cedis to 12 Ghana cedis.
Yes, and there are indicators unprecedented in the history of Ghana. Global market, world crude oil shot up to 100%. Unprecedented. Let me quote a year about one of the World Bank leaders or say, this crisis, a pandemic, global pandemic, this crisis is like no other pandemic in the history of the world. It doesn't know borders and it has no respecter of the person, of any phenomenon. But it is more likely to be likened to the Great Depression of 1935.
Okay.
The dollar and the cedi after global pandemic, air corner. And yet being in the circumstance within which we find ourselves in. As here, the World Container Company, the container, every year, the transport to Nyoma. It shot up to 150%.
Okay.
Within a year, container company, the container, a transport to Nyoma. And we are saying a brand new woman, Embre Papa. Even John Mahama, the time that he was a leader, and Ghana economy, running nosedive. The State of the Nations address. He told the nation, said China, economic situation, of course, for China, and Amasu about Ghana. And it was a State of the Nations address. So is it justified that today he himself went and stood somewhere in the United States and made a statement that global pandemic has a repercussion in the lives of the ordinary Ghanaian? And then he is the same person empowering Kofi Adams to veteran say Ghana for tum say sebi nyado the ekoso MPP Baumia and Aba. And even at all looking at the economic management, despite the crisis, despite the pandemic, despite everything, who are the better managers of the Ghanaian economy? We check all the indicators. They were running an economy of 3.5 to GDP. The time they left office. Today, as I'm talking to you, economy saying echo to GDP ratio. When you compare, etiminia and nyoma ye kika Kofi Adams can want some Yamra doom so once a more debate to or can want to credit. Reactive to certain points of very important because there's a near Barb and Torgeti, Baumia's vision. And in your modi to gather their compare John Mahama. Doom so it will be a lie for anybody to tell me, sit here and tell me, say, and this is for the soul who do so. And I'll give you 3 examples. Listen, my brother, it's not just the you. These are facts. Go and check. Atuabo gas processing plant. MPP Adnan Bamba, who say, as a visionary leader under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who say, gas almost produced to power generation was as low as 98 million cubic feet. And I'm giving you an example. We increased the capacity from 98 million cubic feet to 120 million cubic feet only at Atuabo. When we, yes, you say, sir, a gas flow near Bano, They've already signed a contract with Sankofa gas contract. The most expensive gas contract in the world was signed by the NDC under John Mahama ENI Sankofa contract. $10 per MMBTU. Whether we like it or not, as a nation, we have to pay. Akufo-Addo ne ba omiyanyansemu. Yeah, gas supply.
Okay.
Akufo-Addo ne ba omiyanyansemu no. We have to combine Sankofa time and then Jubilee together. And yeah, what we call Sanzule tying all the gas pipeline together to shift power, to shift gas to the main Abuazi power generation for power generation. Let me tell you, give me a simple. Just 2 minutes. We increase capacity. We increase capacity from a combination of all the three to 350 million cubic feet of gas supplied to Abuazi. And then, Takradi Regulatory and Metering Station. Capacity and FR. Me channel the enter doom so
okay.
Capacity and FR 109 million scarves.
Or say almost survey doom so.
Me say, I don't know say gas to power generation na make sure. You increasing capacity in Takradi Regulatory and Metering Station. You increasing capacity from 109 under NDC to 405 million scarves.
Mobile power 2017 na doom so.
Me city now they make sure gas to power generation. So listen very well. From there,
also let me tell you,
Abuazi
mobile
processing
power in 2017 na doom so wo.
Na doom so ewo.
In 2017.
Yes, of course.
Na ye wo ECG timetable ya dey run doom so Ghana.
Minua. Didn't you? And I make sure na on person make sure because as I make can so make sure technical processes e dey go akwa doom so and dey Ghana. And that's 350 million scarves. You increasing that capacity, we were buying like crude $100 million additional to make sure say be power your thermal energy your thermal plant and then you free the gas supply and the man increasing capacity. Let me tell you, car power we push gas into car power and we are getting 350 megawatts. West African gas pipeline was supplying gas to an eastern enclave and you're pushing your pipeline from here to Eastern Enclave, and almost about 120 million cubic feet of gas. I know almost about 600 megawatts of electricity. And the combination of car power, transporting power to the Eastern Enclave to supply Asogli and the rest. A combination of other sources of interventions. And a solve do so. Those times you hear a trouble processing plant shut off. When you shut it off, you see that.
Yes.
And I'm saying no.
You see the timetable when you run doom so mobile.
Ye buy capacity de abeka ho ama dum so kane dum no eno na me boss wa kire wo no say a timely intervention of increasing gas supply gas supply for power generation otiase eno ye one of the major interventions catch your Sanzule tying reverse flow from here to Atwabo from West Africa from western region to the eastern enclaves. I did do benefit from a supply guy. Say West African gas pipeline shut it. There's gas flow for power generation, and no can be and ama do so consistent maintenance. It can be. It is an your maya make a key. NDC buying almost to me anye. Almost the contract, one of the major contracts. I did Kotobe Kumba contract. Derek Kofi-Addo say. ENI gas contract, the most expensive gas contract in the world was signed by under NDC. Etiba said, when we push an agenda of going into a new dimension in the energy sector, making sure say solar become one of the major interventions in making sure we improve the energy sector.
Okay.
One of the key. And when it comes to box to box, facts to facts, me better me the facts na to. Let Kofi Adams come and tell me say asema me kan no. any other alternative for ibi or betimi ediaba. And the me catch on say key interventions help in solving do so. Oba Ghana card asem o kan ho asem.
No. I don't want this to shift to this, but let's deal with intro this because Nyama Bibi must be dealt with because minim
nsɛm a wo kan wa na me minim sɛ na me no nya adwene o enso so metie ye Ghana card the o Ghana obi anim 2009 ye kosan lie wo krofro minua no mo krofro mo tie me kosan lie say ye ma wo chit bi say Ghana card o koye ye be ma Ghana card under mills wo be kaya na wo kuma sia ye ko di lie me ne me maame ko di lie say ye kwa ko register Ghana card under the leadership of the NDC obi hu Ghana ni bi betima kire me say ye process Ghana card for Obia. And they be a pilot. They do piloting. No matter for a few people.
Okay.
Maybe
on my side. Me receiving a Ghana card. I think somewhere in 2012. And fortunately for me call me new one with the number na me won for me old one. I think me either 2010 or 2012 no. And the same number. And the man for new one year me call ye. And for that one, I know say under President Mills, no, you issue Ghana card. That time,
never me personally. I'm using my personal experience.
Okay.
And we're talking about the entire nation.
Okay.
A bold decision. So we cry to us, okay, say you should be how come millions of Ghanaians today can boast of. We're talking about NDC and MPP. You share leadership vision. Even granted, say they even wanted to issue a Ghana card. How many Ghanaians were able to get the card today? Almost about 17 to 19 million Ghanaian population can boast of Ghana card. And Ghana card out to be there was so much confusion
30 seconds
everywhere in terms of this identity fraud in the system about Umiaka once and almost under their leadership, ghost names all over the place. I need a pay for Ghana card ukura under the visionary leadership of Baumia. Team number Ubi Bia also. I'll bet you anything that you want to do.
Also,
can leadership ni vision. Yeah. There is a total difference in terms of how.
Also, Deputy Director of Communication, the NPP, Amanyoku. For Chebra, say we call Mula Kofi Pacheba, Benyabre. Tell them so they know. TM point. Benyabre no respond to be officer or Kanya when he any more. Mulabre, also, Chewy, Yabai. Yes, Ababuna, Aqua BM, Efa, Emra Badwam Mpensenpensemu Ebre, Edigusu Airtrain Commodity Fa, Mampeni, Abede, Dr. Alaj Mahmoud Baumias Pondia Tuja, UPSA, when a minority of Machine Fiamunsu, Anu Yomunsu, Area Bamano. But before that, Yafiani and Mame Amabuzia, ne 1 week, Jumedia, Elcosu and Cranko, Ase, 7 Casosho TV, in Mampeni, Abede, Dr. Alhaj Mahmoud Baumian and Penifo, Aqua Kudru Hodom. Also penny kwabra Japan and so abba. I'm not chiwaba adwa sewa hodom. I'm not chiwaba try for the fache dia na e kon sese e ka say.
Ani nyina ya rehosem brechi kase ya abo o my Ghana. Wonu mu a eboa ma ye je Ghana si wo chechire o my Ghana enne Ghana ya Ghana ne mu ba ko atwa nananom e won se do na ne na wo chide die na ye hye safa no e won ne fie ya e wo abelenpe ma. Just few minutes ago, yenya Chief of Staff Mame Frema Opare ebe mu ya waba be ma abusua yakọ na MPP amoyokuo sanse mame na wote ase no mame amase waba me busia woye MPP amoyokuo ni mobi a wodi ntintimai pa etimpanimfo abepie mu no Ghana mampanyina be de akire awoye Frank Atuni ma MPP amoyokuo Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia bepie mu hasesi Ghana mampanyi His Excellency Nana Danko Akufo-Addo abepiem ha so ye welcome Ghana mampanyi His Excellency Nana Danko Akufo-Addo one Ghana ye First Lady Mama Rebecca Akufo-Addo na wo mo ewrom sesi abema abusua yakọ His Excellency Nana Danko Akufo-Addo the first gentleman and Penny Mama Rebecca Akufo-Addo for who do bia for ni chidom abepiem ewo mame amase wa ba mi buzia ne na wo chide die ye kwaso abepenti emu nkomodie ne de somwo no ohun se obia ama ne muso sanse Ghana mampanyi apie ha Emiritia bi ena mampanya bedi echire His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia wone ne hokani Maame Samira Baumia bepie mu na Justin Frimpong Kodua na odi mu ntintimai empanimfo ahodo bi a waka MPP amanyoko homa ne yeye wo mu nyina ba mampanyina bedi echire ene ne hokani chidom ena obepie mu ewa ha Samia wuku wa ha afa empanimfo bi a wo mu ka bi ewom asofo akese na nanom hemfo Woman in Abeca Busia Honana, watch the DNA Kama. Today, when it's a TV Nesuano. Aya Ghana Mampenyi, His Excellency Nanado Danko Kufuado, on an Hokani Mama Rebecca Ekufuado, and in the Chidom 4 and one more Emma Ebusia Yako Sabre. To be who say obi asori agina ne nan so de ani de se no no ya de ani de ma no enti Ghana mampanyi no ono ne hokani Mama Rebecca Akufo Addo enche bia na wo mo chi anti Cecilia Dapa ensem the first gentleman of the land. And I watch here Baumia and then Hokani some Ghana Bampen inform you no and a CM1. And see, MPP among your corner penny for a dimuntin to mine. One more a chichira among your corner, I'm a Jinabepem Sampensway. Woman na abepiem ewo fiduemu ha enti we screen so no Ghana mampanyi ene na bedi akire na agi adwa no o mampanyi ni fa so ye ne hokani Mama Rebecca Akufo Addo ana Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia ye Franka tuni MPP amanyoko no na wasa ye mampanyi abedi akire ono so atena se wote Ghana mampanyi ensa bonkum so ena ono so ni bonkum so ye ne hokani Maame Samira Baumia ena wono so atena se fefefe Maame Samira Ncheno ubehu Chief of Staff Maame Frema ono so atena se enti wo hwepono ti ha ubehu mpanimfo ekuku damwa wo mu nyina eba na wabebo abusua ma oba panyi ama ba me busia afi apem ahankron aduasansia afi apem ahankron ne aduasansia 1936 ebepem afimpinu ne aduonum yensa 2023 ena wotena ate asefo asase so tine na wochi de dia abusua adofo ajanfo amanyoko mu mpanimfo na nanom atra nkonwa ahia wodi sa na wochi da no emu amanebo ena mede esom wo no sabre abusua Emma bema Ghana mampanyi ena bedi akire akwaba.
Whose life with us was a great blessing and whose memory still remains a great blessing and a treasure. I welcome you all in the name of God, who is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. This morning we meet here by the kind permission of the family of our late mother, the Sofwasi Yifri royal family of Winchi. On behalf of the Busia Pinging, Mr. Kojo Obeng Busia, I welcome you all. Shortly, we begin a memorial service led by
Ebusiano Emma Ghana mampanyi na bedi akire wono merenum empanimfo wo mayimu akwaba na wada wo asese wabeka abusua ho na wo mudi na wo tweda sronkoi enche wobeye esom sronko anopai Methodist asafo no ena edi animuma osom yi akoso anopai.
Then I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, "Write, blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on. Yes, says the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works will follow them." Amen. We'll continue by singing MHV 878, standing.
Abelenkpe ena yede se adwumadie efiri brewo oba panyi ama se wa ba me buzia ne na wo cheda som no ena ekoso ewa ha ebraso se abusua nyina mo mo so na bo fi osom na se
Eti yamame amabuzia ne 1 week ase ena ye wona meka se ewia 3 o'clock ye beko fully na yama osenie 1 week na sabeko ede afanti ewia 3 o'clock ye befa dwumade ne nya live ede free honum ede master abajafo atamsuka se ultimate remedial school ensu eni ope best remedial school akwaka remedial se honkwa na mekamfo ede amawo so master say registration phrase CA 0244696911 0244696911 and 02078910004 obo campus ewo omo venue no St Andrews SHS campus here wo asemfosu and afe encourage branch so kwa obehu omo so honum saso na Ghana Post me kaka so do for me store that person okra ne ma oni ne ma free Ghana ekoma adofo bi wa monone say ye banchi say ye bonde ade aduane bi apeso de ko bi afakosi Ghana Post so US na apeso de ko Europe na apeso de ko UK na apeso de ko baby bi apeso de ne ma ekobia no o de ko Ghana Post o de be ko e de amount from 0542 527 004 0542 527 004 Kingdom ensu eninu papa ye de ese ya de Kingdom garlic bitters Kingdom garlic capsules boa abustu immune system New Kingdom ginseng power capsules ensu ma mema ejino na asu eye pa saso na tremendous capsules no so boa mama say so mo himfio no de ama mo pebito o member bi eton do be akwa onsa be ka bi atom covid the next person
so they will use 5 minutes I didn't know me use this. My friend Yababet na now more through the course of the program. Some of the other programs. Dr. Baumia.
Okay.
Eyubia me any Ghana for Bebre and Yadia begin because in some Bebre waka undi sunu untumi mba mbejina create another platform.
Okay.
Now we turn on another set of lies. Abra intro na wudi kan edi ye no. Wonye no ono no hu adwuma. Enye Dr. Baumia no beka kire say they are moving from taxation to production.
Okay.
Ene obi a watena ho as supervisor ye dey more than 56 taxes. E dia beto yeso including inwisie tax. E-levies. Eni ne ekeka ho nyina no. O say or be repetibium. So we are moving from taxation to production. How should we believe you? At the end, or say Yejudi, or say Yebema laptops, who can send the brea?
Also, Mr. to the naughty,
me draw attention. From my cop,
Martinoti Yanko, Govianko.
Many opinion.
Dr. Baumianka said we are moving from taxation to production.
Because OCC also repeating
on cancer.
On cast out.
No.
Even recently, you see, anything I make us say sometimes. We are very well educated. Nipan, we found a statement our year. Paragraph 128. Baby, I walk about national service.
Okay.
What can just that statement now in Tiena and send you who are walking? You combine listening to oh yeah, what kind ya watch her?
Okay.
You can't find where he say companies are not recruiting currently because of what? National service. Sakasana Oka can statement any intro. Companies cannot recruit when there are no jobs. Abrana Yenyewo University, even as recent as 98, 99. Now Unilever no Egusuba University of Ghana campus to come and do recruitment.
Okay.
Because ne Jumaye then ewo. So it is not because of national service, anything na companies, enko universities, enko ye recruitment biom. Because ejuma no be ni ho. Omukra omwe omuye ejuma na no it's my Yamson. Muye no interview Evans Mensah. E den no kai. O say wofa 9 out of 10 companies they are relieving persons regularly. And they are relieving already experienced persons, you know. Omeden omako university to go and pick even inexperienced persons. But senka ejuma no wo ho. To say President Mahama ne agenda of 24-hour economy, running series of shifts, no, and in Juma bebre be then beba. In Juma no ba, by all means, companies will have to go and look for other hands.
Okay.
So they will go back to the and your national service in and companies and universities and recruitment.
Okay.
But back to Sema okay, I say, yeah, bema every SHS students be laptops ya loading textbooks. Ediegusu. Normal textbooks
na no de ya na say
me kan ya waka pen a omunye ye enti nia oka na no we don't have to believe him.
Okay.
O say ye be ma SHS student be laptops ye the textbooks na egusu.
Okay.
SHS chere me SHS ba kokura ya ma hon laptops a chere fo ya je won nsem sika say ye be ma hon laptops teachers Omo president, Nagrat president, Debia, he's complaining and raising concerns about those things. More than 80% of the teachers are yeji omo nsamusika, omo laptops no, yem fan mahon. Now waba, ube promising school for school mranti yese, ube mahon laptops, no wait to ya over 4 years. Omo awaji omo nsamusika already no, woma wono.
Okay.
Actually, for the na waji omo sika already no, woma won laptops. Okay. Now, who be promising students say, who be on laptops, no wait here over a 4-year period.
Maybe President Akufo-Addo
another lie. And your President Akufo-Addo no be cast answer. Dr. Baumia and Oko Jina sorry them Lighthouse Chapel.
Okay.
In the presence of Doug Heward Mills, Bishop, say Omuba Omuba
yeah.
Ababe Omunya even asphalt biom.
Okay.
One can't even be to me or say asphalt no omunya biom. Omuba be concrete roads.
Okay.
Meaning even 1 meter of concrete roads abayi enye. Oh, why? Now time bebre I would demand now okay. Menya nko hokura. Look, as for Dr. Baumia. As for Dr. Baumia and corruption. Me enye me enabeka. First and foremost, the president in Kenya Kudro say obeye hu bibia. 2 Charles Edubwahi.
Baumia is corrupt.
Serious. Charles Edubwahi. Charles Edubwahi.
Okay.
Say onim say Dr. Baumia oji bribes are. Nko ho ka kire obi say as for vice president bra. Wanka say family me na me fan koma no. O say bra. Charles Edubwahi o say bra. Na me fan ko vice president o.
Okay.
Na wanka sa ho ye den won fan koma no.
But I say
Charles Edubwahi enim say vice president enji anka wanka say nipa no bra. Wanka say ye fan manu.
Okay.
O say wo bra. Na me fan won ko. Now one kasa we then one fan question. The last point, PDS deal. And yet Dr. Baumia no got na PDS deal so. Oma yes san. Adiena yes yemfa bank guarantee. Enfambra yes secured no. Dr. Baumia kotena so say yes sa bank guarantee no. Na yenko insurance guarantee. Okay. Subsequently, and then see no say insurance guarantee na oma yes sa no. No munim say fake. Fake insurance guarantee. In the year, can say 2 billion of Yensika PDS for JN. Ayira. My last point on this. Mr. Rice. Emwa Obiakra Nemo. Ediaba Omei. In the office, in the officer over the office. Otro Krata. Edekoma say Yejisa Mono. In the name of the vice president. Now what you say, vice president. president any corrupt. But my last point on what we handed over to the Mamema, look, redenomination. When the mafia redenomination is here. When the mafia redenomination, say 2007. At the time I hear redenomination, Ukra 97 pesos. What did you $1? At the time President Kufuor left office, by the 7th of January 2009, we hear 1.2 cedis. And $1. So look at the rate of depreciation in such a short period. So if for all that period, $3.0, the people will not understand what it is that I'm saying. So let me just finish on this economy. Look, I'm saying that, let me just finish on, I will not go to any other point beyond the economy. So at the time the NDC was leaving office, we $1, we had just 3.9 cedis. And we had 13 cedis, almost say average. Now we $1 average na $3. Yeah, the average na $3. And of course, look at the figures which are available. Deficit 6.1. In deficit 12. Growth 3.6. Last year 1.5. Debt to GDP 57%. Equal to 104%. Inflation 8.7%. 28.7%. My main country, the lending rate, 26%. In a 32%. Industry sector, the growth, no, 4.3%. In a negative 1.2%. Manufacturing, 7.9%. Negative 1%. No, the situation we find ourselves in. The situation we find ourselves in. On top of that, Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund.
So we are Obia, or a fine gentleman, but because of say Udi, a visionless leader.
Don't come in. Listen. No, withdraw that. Withdraw that immediately. Withdraw that immediately. I'm saying withdraw those.
Let me go there. Okay, wait a minute. Withdraw because you won't stop me from saying what I'm saying. Maridro. The leader is visionless and it's clear. John Mahama, the whole Ghana, Ubetra Kofi Adams, Betra Radio, so TV, so catch Ghana for say Mahama ne Baumia Jinawa. Mahama is credible. Let me quote your godfather, former President Jerry John Rawlings. Let me quote your own father. I'm quoting you. Jerry John Rawlings, your own father, will say corruption under Muhammad's regime is so deep rooted that the principles of the former
I wish that he was alive today. Martinami have to run away. He said, "Mother serpent for corruption."
Baumia has given solutions
for corruption.
Obi say, "Okoye nkoko na nkoko no muton ankosua no na mo de abom bra." Dr. Mahmoud Baumia say yenuanum eto abeye from independence abeye ade eye adwadifo yenuanum ma eham eye totua ba obi ase oba obema ye flat tax rate ebeboa ama adwadini bia
okay. All the taxes.
Going forward, we'll see there's a new dimension. A new dimension of visionary leadership. Or they are here and cancro. Eba Ghana Nibia Brabomu, Ama Ghana Nibia, Etimi, Eddie Akon kind when it comes to revenue generation. Watch your choir, Obefa Subetimi Ama Ghana, Etmajinasu. The drive is private sector. Oko America, ni London, ni a year. The new dimension. And they say private sector is the engine of growth in Britain. after Margaret Thatcher taking over the leadership of one country.
You have
there's a new door, but we have some in the US. We did have a since here.